Hey there, and welcome to episode 5 of How to Activate, Trust, and Focus Your Intuition for Breakthrough Living. Welcome all. I'm going to wait a couple of moments to give people a chance to sign in, and we'll get busy. So glad you're here. Let's check and see who's coming in as they sign in. While we're waiting, I'm here in the Boston area. Ken Coscia here, the founder of the Trust Your Intuition Academy, as well as the lead instructor and international training director for the Silva Method. And I'm here in the Boston area, just getting ready, starting tomorrow, for our immersion experience of the Silva Life and Intuition System. And I was thinking of you guys, and I wanted to just say hi and continue with our episodes, this being episode number 5, How to Activate, Trust, and Focus Your Intuition for Breakthrough Living. And we've been looking at, in the first 4 episodes, the 12 focusing principles. I want to continue with that as we go. So let me just say hello to a couple of people. Ina, hello Ina, you're back. And Husna, Claire. Nice to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. So good. And thank you so much. I have to say to those of you on now, Ina and Husna and Claire, thank you for your shares. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for the hearts and for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It's nice to know that somebody's listening. This is a huge, huge, huge topic. Everybody, and I mean everybody these days, talks about your intuition. I've been doing this work for over 4 decades, 45 years. Hey, Victoria, hey, and Arctic, Grassland, yo, nice to see you guys, welcome. As I was saying, I've been doing this work for nearly 50 years. And back in the early days, it was like, whoa. Now it's become so much more accepted, meditation, intuition. In fact, as you know, more and more business leaders talk about how they use their intuition and their logic together. So think about it for a moment. Why is it important to you? What are some of the decisions you make perhaps on a daily basis? And how do you know that you can trust your decisions? Let me just say hello, a few more. Roberto. Hey, Victoria. Thank you again, guys, for the shares. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. So as I was saying, this is a huge topic. Why? Because there's so much to... It's one thing to have an insight, an idea, a feeling, an inkling, that inner voice, women's intuition, you know, what we feel in our gut, or what do you feel in your heart? But how do you know that you can really trust it? In upcoming episodes, we're going to go into some specific takeaways for you, how you can start building that confidence, and how you can discern the difference between wishful thinking, impulsive wishful thinking, impulsive, type of emotion that gets us into trouble sometimes, and intuition, inner wisdom that guides us. And when we are in alignment with that inner wisdom, it seems like the universe has got our back, and we get into that flow state. And then again, when uncertainties are high, when fear is high, when doubt is high, we think we're having an insight, but it's nothing more than, again, you know this, I'm talking to the choir here, fear-based thinking, not intuition. Let me say a few more before they leave the screen. Lisa, Aishan Edis is a Silva Instructor Director for Turkey, a dear, dear friend. Husner is a fairly new instructor in Pakistan. I just had the pleasure to meet and work with her. Two very cool women. I love them, and I respect them immensely for their work. Mary, hey Mary, and Linda Masani. Linda's deeply involved in the Silva Method. We go way back, and Linda's also a certified instructor, although she's temporarily not practicing. Very cool woman, does some really great stuff. I hope you don't mind, guys, that I'm sort of introducing you, because I'm so blessed to be able to facilitate some of the trainings that you've allowed me to in doing this work. Let me just say a couple more and we get on. Hey, hi back. Again, thanks for the shares. Let your friends know. So this is episode 5, and I want to continue how to trust your focus, your intuition, how to activate it, first step. And these are 12 focusing principles. that I have fine-tuned over the years, actually since about 1986, when Jose Silva was still alive and I was working more closely with him, being mentored by him, and working with the best of the best. And the whole Silva program is about developing intuitive or the subjective faculties and learning how to use them to make better decisions, wiser decisions. So if you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, an innovator, you know that this is crucial, vitally important. If you're in sales, you just have so much time in the day. And there are times when you're on, right? And you just have a hunch, a sense to call someone, to make a call that wasn't in your schedule, and it turns out it was a great move. If you're a teacher, a coach, then you know the value of tuning in, connecting with your clients. And sometimes we say the right thing at the right time that helps them to break through a challenge, and sometimes we don't. So I say it's a huge topic because just think, we're constantly making decisions in the roads we travel on the holiday spots we take, on the who we choose to follow in personal development. Golly, there's so much out there. Everybody's got a big promise. Everybody's going to teach us how to make a lot of money online. Everybody wants to certify us. I'm not knocking it. I am saying be careful and look for people who have a proven, consistent track record. Not someone who's a wannabe per se. Hey, some others, Linda Eishin. Yeah, thanks. And Deanna. Oh, Deanna Silva. This is one of Jose's children, one of his daughters, of the 8 remaining children. There were originally 10, and she's now serving as our president, Silva International. So again, guys, this is Ken Coscia. Well, actually, I think all of you know me. I'm the lead instructor, training director for Silva International, also the founder of the Trust Your Intuition Academy, and we're looking at the focusing principles. So in week number 1, we talked about the importance of relaxation, being able to stay calm and focused even under pressure. Whether you go for a walk in the woods, on the beach, meditating is perfect and ideal for that, or whether we're reading a good book, when we taking a shower and you take the pressure off. You may remember the story I told you about the entrepreneur who had this vision, this idea of this incredible business opportunity while he was in the shower. Let me say a few other people. I just want to acknowledge you for being here. Ardic and yes, hey guys. So let me just continue on. And if you're signing on and I haven't acknowledged you yet, I want to continue and then I'll come back. So again, I thank you for being here. Anyway, to go back to this topic of relaxation. Second, we said you got to have a big vision, a big why. It's easy to get caught up in a spiritual soup. It's easy to be seduced by the promise of making more money. It's easy to be seduced by the promise of quick fix. Ain't no quick fix. It's easy because it engages our emotions, and then we get impulsive, and there's a lot of buyer's remorse. So again, this is a huge topic because I want to help you make better decisions. I want to help you save lots of money, lots of time, so that you're not perfect, but you're more and more in the right place. And in order to do that, you're going to need to have good, sound logic, good, sound, rational thinking, coupled, integrated with intuition. And when you have the both are necessary. I focus on intuition. That's my specialty, although I do have a background in managerial psychology. I do have a background in numbers and engineering, but really my specialty, my passion is working with intuition. I've worked with over 100,000 people. I've been to 30 different countries. I've been doing this, like I said, for a long time, and it's a blessing. So the vision is so that you don't get caught up in the spiritual soup. You got to be focused. You got to, make a decision. Otherwise, we're all over the place, and you get overwhelmed. Also, it's not always easy. Sometimes it's outright difficult. Maybe it's a struggle. And in order to tolerate that, in order to push through it, it's going to take a lot of motivation. And motivation comes from within. It comes from deep within when for example, I have a new grandson. He's a big why for me, big motivator. I have 3 children I love dearly. I'd do anything for them. Big motivation. I have a wife, my partner and best friend, Barbara. Maybe she's on, although she was out of the office today. And these are people most important to me. But also, I'm deeply concerned about the way things are on the planet. there's so much lying, there's so much misinformation, there's so much deceit. I mean, it can be disheartening at times, and I don't even want to go there. And some of you listening now know exactly what I'm referring to. It's time to stop that. It's time to get in alignment with our true values, our integrity, stay in integrity. So part of my mission is, my hope is, I believe you and I can take command of our lives from the inside out. And this is one of the necessary tools you and I need to cultivate and develop, and it's like any muscle, intuition, so that we can make better decisions and get to the truth. And how do we know what he or she is saying is indeed the truth? Can we count on it? That's really what drives me. That's the passion. And I hope in maybe my own small little way I've helped you and countless others to make a little better decision. Kat, hey, and Terry, nice to see you guys. Terry Coddington's got a beautiful center in Indiana, Heart Space. Wow. And Terry and I go way back. She was working as a Silva trainer way back. She's now doing some beautiful work at Heart Space. Look them up for that. I wish I could just acknowledge everybody and talk about the work you do, because we need more and more people like you guys who are listening in now. It's time that we follow our heart and implement action to take command of our lives. The third principle we looked at was being playful, being childlike, daring to be naive. Make it a game. If it's a test, if it's competition, too much stress. And if there's stress, it brings us out of the moment, out of flow. If we get critical, if we begin to worry, think too much, try to figure it out, that brings us out of the beauty of the subjective aspect of the subconscious. It's really an art. I spent 4 days with you guys in the immersion, life and intuition system, cultivating this. 4 days from 8:30 in the morning till 7 at night. So these are little sound bites that I hope that are takeaways also that will get you started, support what you know already, or introduce you to what you can expect. It's the coolest thing. If you decide to come into the Silva class, we're all over the world. Phenomenal class, highly recommended if you're seriously interested in developing your intuition. There are very few organizations, if any, other than the Silva Method, who really have such a framework, a consistent framework, step by step, on how to do that. Then we looked at, fourth, application. You got to have some applications, how you're going to use it, which feeds the motivation. Practice, and then you got to work with it. Come back to the Silva class, or enroll in the Silva class, or read a good book, or play with your friends. But you got to have some exercises so that you begin to recognize the difference between when you're making it up, wishfully thinking, or when you're on the money. What we want to look at today then is detachment and, we talked about application and practice, but also talked about then trust and courage and attention. That was last week when I interviewed Ronnie Joy, the midlife dating coach. You may remember. Go back, I think Facebook saves these. But anyway, you got to have trust and courage in yourself. And that's going to come with practice. That's going to come with having points of reference. Again, be on alert. We're going to go into more detail in upcoming episodes. I'm going to give you some cool little exercises. And pay attention to the voice, the inkling, the inner thoughts, the feeling. Your dreams. Dreams are really a window to your soul. Pay attention to what's showing up in the dreams. Pay attention to those fleeting thoughts. Not the manufactured thoughts, not the pushed thoughts, not the worrisome thoughts, but when you're least expecting it, especially when you're relaxed, when you're at ease, when there's no pressure. A couple of others want to say hello? Janet, hey, Janet Wolfman, and Alan Steen, a Connecticut Silva grad, and Donna Briggs. Hey, Donna, I think I missed a few people. Please forgive me. Because I don't have my glasses on, and I'd rather not. I'm too vain to wear them all the time. They're actually just readers. But anyway, so trust and courage. Now, what I want to go into today, I've been thinking about this, and in the interest of transparency, I want to open up to you and share something that's very, very personal, that close friends know this, I allude to it in my trainings, but not too often. And I've been thinking about this. What pushes me? What drives me? What drives you to do this work? What drives me to travel all over the world, take these long killer flights? Cancel the killer, but you know what I mean. To do this, and it's like 45 years. I have to say that I don't think I'm any more intuitive than you or anyone else. However, I've cultivated and I've become highly intuitive and I've learned to trust it. And when I look back, in my youth, I was raised in Brooklyn, New York. Hey, Brooklyn, Bay Ridge. Up to the first 8 years of my life, my family was dirt poor. We used to get Thanksgiving gifts. I know you've heard people talk stuff like that, but I'm the baby. There were 4 of us. I really had it the best and the easiest. And my brothers and sisters who are 15 years older than me, one is only 4 years older than me, remind me of that. They had to work, they had to struggle, they had to help out. I was the only one who got to go away to school. My parents paid for it. I had no college debt. I'm really so blessed, and they weren't rich or wealthy. Somebody in one of my videos posted that I grew up with a silver spoon. For Christmas, I used to get socks and underwear. That was my Christmas gift under the tree, up to about the first 8 years. The building we lived in was demolished. It wasn't evicted, what's the word for it? Condemned. It was condemned for that. This was on 88th Street between 4th and 5th, right next to a hula hoop factory. Now I'm telling you this for a reason. I was raised and hung out with my father and his buddies and my mother. On one night, my mother was president of the Rosary Society, and I go to all the church meetings. I was an altar boy. We have a whole lineage of hierarchy I was raised a Catholic. My father, however, was a professional gambler. And I tell you this because I grew up, I watched my father's best friends. I watched restaurant owners, some of the best, finest restaurants in Bay Ridge, and I'm not going to mention names, meatpacking businesses. I would go to a track meet. I was captain of the track team. When I came home to killer card games with all these guys and my dad. In my young years, not so much when I was 8, but as I got older. And these guys were all gamblers, and my father was the professional. I'll just leave it at that. And they were his buddies. And when most kids went home to Ozzie and Harriet, I went home to the card games. When most dads were playing ball with their sons, my dad took me to the racetrack, took me to card games, took me to nightclubs. It's an interesting way to grow up in Brooklyn. I didn't know better. It's me now as a 65-year-old man looking back at this. But I'm telling you this because these men were always following their hunches. They were always playing the numbers. They were always, just had that feeling. You know where I'm going with this? And I watched each and every one of them, my uncles, these men, lose their restaurants, lose their thriving businesses, go into deep in debt, lose their marriages or drive their spouses crazy because they were addicts, gambling addicts. Hey, Janet again. Hey, Janet, thank you for the compliment. Thanks for the shares, thanks for the hearts. So I'm telling you this, guys, I'm a little bit sensitive to it because I haven't opened up so much. Maybe somebody out there can benefit from it. When I talk about the difference between wishful thinking and intuition, I know too much from first-hand experience watching them. My father then stopped gambling and he became a professional and became very, very good with numbers and very, very successful, had people working. We moved to Fort Hamilton area of Bay Ridge, right near Poly Prep, if you know the area. But anyway, it's a beautiful home, nice brownstone. And like I said, I had it so much easier. My brothers and sisters were all out of the house, and I was there. But still, I would come home to those killer card games, and it continued. It's really sad watching them. And I mean, what do I know? I was just a kid growing up, and this is what they did. I watched them. And I watched my father go from having nothing, having to work, my mother told me, 3 jobs to support us when they were dirt poor. But he was also working 3 jobs because he was gambling and losing it all. He would fall asleep on the R railroad going through Brooklyn back and forth to work. Then when he curtailed his gambling and became a pro at it, again, I'll leave it at that, he became very successful and made a small fortune. And that's how I got through school. That's how he put me through school. And I had, by comparison to my brothers and sisters, much easier. And thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Again, if you're very fortunate and blessed, with that. But then inevitably what happens is to gamblers, there was an embezzlement. He lost some properties that were embezzled literally from the attorney that his parents had left. And part of the addiction is always wanting to get even. And then you hedge your bets. And I watched my dad go from nothing or living like that to having everything, not to care at all financially, to literally having nothing, losing everything, the house. My mother dropped dead, had a heart attack. I'm convinced she just said, I'm done. Very, very, very emotional and sad time in our lives. And I learned a lot from it, though. I learned a lot. And I noticed that it's helped me build character. And another thing you need to activate intuition is empathy and acceptance. I can't change my dad. Well, actually, he passed away. But I watched my dad in his last dying breath, a tear rolling down, a machine sucking blood out of his lungs, tell me, I'm a good boy. You can barely speak. And I broke down crying. I'll always remember that. Even now, I'm perspiring and I'm getting goosebumps all over. He had never said that to me. He had never told me, love me. But it was really to watch that. And it became, for me, a lesson to watch. And I acknowledge, those of you who know me, I'm very conservative. I'm a conservative presenter. If I tell you something, you can count on it, because I don't make promises and I don't embellish and my marketing isn't so slick. Maybe it should be slick, I'm told. Maybe I should promise more. Maybe I should shout out more about my background and what I have to offer. But it's kind of tempted me to be conservative. And even in business and investments, I'm very ultra conservative. I embrace it, I acknowledge it, and it's actually helped me. Because I went from working with the best of the best to becoming the best of the best, and I've been able to put my 3 children through school, doing this work with no debt. I've been able to create a nice life. It's not an elegant lifestyle, but it's a nice, comfortable lifestyle in the Farmington Valley in Connecticut. So I love this work, and I thank God for the opportunity. But the point is, it's too easy to impulsively make decisions. So when I look back on that, and I look back on my dad and my uncles and the friends and the guys I hung out with, I could tell you stories. I look back and say, wow, what a shame. And I feel empathy for them, although they're all gone now, because there were many more of my years. And it taught me a lot of lessons. And what about you? Do you know anybody like that who's gambling excessively? And maybe not at the track, maybe not with what do you call it, lottery. I don't even buy lottery tickets. But they're gambling with their lives. They're taking unnecessary risks, like teenagers do. There's got to be a delicate balance. So part of what drives me is hoping that, well, for myself, that I can cultivate my intuition, make better, wiser decisions, so that I'm more effective as a human being in my life. Using my intuition, I've saved thousands and thousands of dollars of unnecessary repairs in the home and our cars by learning how to ask questions and get to the truth of what's being told me and picking the right supplier, contractor. It's like another whole topic. Again, what about you? So start paying attention to those signals. Start paying attention, looking at that. And again, there's this delicate balance of trusting that. And excuse me for being so conservative. I'm getting better and better. But truth be told, we all have our idiosyncrasies. We've all been shaped by our life experience. And that's another thing to look at. Within the domain of your life experience, you have been shaped. Your attitudes, your thoughts, your belief systems, my beliefs, all of us, our belief systems. And all of that has a big impact on how we trust, focus on our intuition, let alone any of the decisions we make. Let me just say a few others. Delana, hi, and Marianne Fitzgerald, boy, I haven't seen you. I think you're still in Colorado. Wow. It's so good. Thank you, guys. I love this Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for creating this live. I'm having more fun doing this than making videos, although I'm still working on making the videos. Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? And I admit it takes me a little bit longer to learn the technologies, maybe than younger people, but I'm learning them. I'm out there and I'm playing with it. And I thank you for your support and your encouragement. So Next week we'll come back, episode number 6, and we're going to take a look some more. So what I want to say in closing was the point of this was you want to develop some empathy, some love, and care, but not care too much. I never expressed that, I'm sorry. You got to detach from your ego. You got to detach from maybe the pain of the emotional upset. I've had to detach. I've had to objectify my father's behavior. At first, it wasn't so. When my father passed away, it took me more than 2 years to grieve the loss. And stuff still comes up, but very lightly. But it was a period of time, especially when I was on the road alone by myself in a hotel room without the support of my wife and family. And the reason why that's important is if we care too much, it leads to obsessive thinking. I've got a video on that. Obsessive thinking is very different than passion. Obsessive thinking knocks us out of flow. Obsessive thinking repels, pushes away. It doesn't attract the good things in our life. And when we are attached or caring too much, and we get too serious, like I sometimes get too serious about myself and my life, that's why, those of you who know me, I play around a lot. I make silly jokes. I have a very silly, ridiculous sense of humor, my wife says. She's right. And I do it because it helps me get out of my seriousness. And it's served me well. And I recommend the same to you, that it'll help you detach from that caring. So care, yes, be empathetic, and have this detachment. I've had a lot of nurses and social workers, therapists, coaches come through trainings with me. And actually, it's been a specialty of mine. And if you're one of those people and you find that you go home and you're exhausted, you're wiped, and after you do your seminar, your workshop, you're wiped, that's a sign that you're out of flow. Yes, you need a rest. Yes, we need a break. Absolutely. Yes, our brain feels like, we need a pause, for sure. But if you're feeling the extreme of wiped, then something's happened. There's a block, and you're not getting that steady interchange, the give and take of the energy. And I've made this a specialty, and maybe in another, I just thought of this now, another episode will cover it. But I've had people, when they come through the Silva training, I coach them, and I work with them in the class to help them get to the point where you can care. That's why you're a social worker, that's why you're a coach, that's why you're a nurse, that's why you do what you do. But you want to care in a way that you're empathetic with detachment. There's a term for it that escapes me, but it's a detached empathy. This is fancy name for it. And when you have that, you'll care, you'll be there, you'll be authentic, but you won't get sucked into their pain, and you won't get drained of their pain. Let me just get a little water, excuse me. Sorry about that. You get the idea? So the last two we covered here were detachment, not caring too much, and then also the detachment is you want to pay attention to these thoughts and the acceptance of yourself and others. And let me just say hello to a few other people. I'm not sure if I say your name right, Egel, but hello, good to see you there. And I'm reading, I'm going to read this because maybe we could all benefit. This is from Victoria. Your autobiography sheds a lot of light on what you teach. You know about intuition, not just theoretically through Silva teaching, but experientially and vicariously through watching your father. This is so true, Victoria, and also through watching myself. Because I'll tell you guys, when I first started Silva, I nearly went bankrupt in my early years a few times because I was wishfully thinking, oh, one more student will pay for this. And I was trying to be too first class, and I wasn't ready. And I was doing all these things and all these cool things because I really wanted to have an incredible class, but I wasn't ready. I didn't have my ducks in order, so to speak. That's what wishful thinking does to you, because we think we're being intuitive, we think we've got but it's not the difference. So yes, thank you, Victoria, for acknowledging that. You're right. I realize this is why I continue, and I'm so passionate about it, because I could write a book, and maybe I should, on the volume of experiences of sometimes when I wish I had listened and times when I'm so glad I did. It's a balance. But what you're looking for is, you can do this. You can increase your odds. You can increase the percentages. You can increase your rights. You can increase your wins. Absolutely. And that's what we do. Let me say hello and then so long. You're welcome, Claire. You're welcome. Thank you. Members that have courage with that. I'm sure it's not so bad. Just part of me was a little bit embarrassed about it. Part of what my father was doing was also illegal. I'm not going to go into details, although he's long gone, and I guess it doesn't matter with that. But yeah, it was a big life lesson. So guys, I hope you're enjoying this. Give me feedback. I'd love to hear. Make comments on Facebook or send some emails, because I'd like to start creating more and more of these live Facebook little mini webinars, if you will, where you could learn and cultivate that. And I also hope that as you realize the value and benefit, that you'll bite the bullet and make a commitment. I got to tell you, I know you might expect this, but I think the greatest thing I ever did in my life was to be introduced to Jose Silva and the Silva Method in '71. Not only did I turn my life around to a purpose-driven life, became an academically high-honored student, but I became a full-time Silva instructor, got over, improved the quality of my health and my life. But wow, I've had a chance to meet and work with people like you. The class, it's a profound experience. I know we may not seem so cool, and I know we've been, this is our 50th year, and there's a lot of flash out there, and there's a lot of sensationalism. But if you're looking for the real deal, something that's genuine and authentic, this is a program that's the most copied and imitated. 22 years of constant research and experimentation, trial and error by Mr. Jose Silva, and there's a proprietary process we use called dynamic meditation. And it works, and that's why we're all over the world, and why it still resonates with people, and it's still recognized for that. So I hope one day to meet you. We have Silva classes all over the world, or maybe one day I'll get to be your trainer, your facilitator. That would be great. So let me say so long for now. I got to finish getting ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow, bright and early, we begin the Silva immersion here in the Boston area for the next 4 days. So thanks again, guys, for listening, and this has been wonderful. And again, keep up your good work. And let me just sign off. And I see a few other people I should say hello and so on. Sonia and Kat, again, you're welcome, guys. And Deanna for this. Yes, better and better. And some of you, if you've signed on and I didn't get to acknowledge you, excuse me, because I didn't have my reading glasses on and I didn't see you. However, know that I appreciate it, and attachment. It's people like you that keep me going. So have a great weekend, guys.